Hello, I'm archaeologist Dr. Erin Jones, and today Poppy and I are visiting Gop Hill. Gop Hill is the third largest human-built prehistoric mound in Britain, and it's just a very short walk from the village of Trelawnyd near Prestatyn. In school you might have learnt about the Stone Age, the Bronze Age, the Iron Age, and then the Romans came along. Didn't you, Poppy? You learnt about that? But now, because the Stone Age is so vast, we've also got periods within the Stone Age. So the Neolithic we know as the New Stone Age, and that's the most recent time in the Stone Age before we then go into the Bronze Age. So we're talking around 5,500 years ago. When we talk about the Neolithic period, we're talking about around 4,000 to 2,500 years BC, before Christ, before the year 0. So a very long time ago. But it's a really important part in history, especially in Britain. And I don't know if you've heard of the Neolithic Revolution. Now, revolutions are usually overnight very quickly. This wasn't quite so quick, but this is the time when farming is introduced to Britain. So people are now starting to, instead of go out and hunt and gather, they're starting to make clearings. They're starting to actually have stock of their own. They're starting to plant and grow their own crops. So this is a pivotal moment in British history. Another reason why you may have heard of the Neolithic period is because this is the time when we're starting to see the big burial chambers, the big chambered cairns, the big stone circles. So the Neolithic period in particular is a really exciting time in archaeology. So the third largest human-built prehistoric mound in Britain. It's a bit of a mouthful, but that's exactly what it is. It only comes after Silbury Hill in Wiltshire and Marlborough Mound. Now, Marlborough Mound, people used to think that it was a castle mound, an old Motte and Bailey mound, but it was excavated relatively recently, and they found that it too dated to the Neolithic period. So, Gop Hill, Gop Cairn behind us here, is the third largest in Britain. But a mound, it doesn't really say much, does it? It's not a burial mound, it's not a burial chamber. It is just a mound built by humans 5,500 years ago. But why? You may be able to see behind us here, right at the top, there's a really sunken bit in the middle of the hill, and that's a clue as to how we know that this is just a mound and doesn't have any chambers or burials inside it. And that's because in the 1880s it was excavated, and apparently a huge shaft was driven down all the way down the middle from the top, which we wouldn't do in today's excavations, but they were able to say that there was nothing inside apart from it being built up mound. So why was it here? What were people doing this long ago, building an earthen mound in the landscape? This big, it really is a mystery. The key to one of the theories lies below the hill here, just down the slopes at Gop Caves. Now, these were also excavated in the 1880s, and they did have evidence of human bones, Neolithic pottery, and some jet items as well. So one theory is that Gop Hill was placed here, was built here as a marker for a place of burial, not actually being a place of burial itself, but actually showing that it was here. One thing you can't fail to notice when you're up here is the amazing view. Now, this place has also been used as a lookout for Owen Glyndwr and his team, and also as a lookout for pirates in the 17th century. You can see quite a big stretch of the sea and the Dee estuary here too, beyond the trees. It's hard to imagine what Neolithic people would have been thinking and how they were feeling when they were building a Gop. We don't know why they built it, we don't know why it was so important, we don't know how many people would have been here when they were building it. Would it have been a noisy affair building it up? Would it have been very calm and quiet? We don't know. But we do know that they were here, and that's something to contemplate when you come and visit. Think about that we are actually standing in the footsteps of these people so many years ago, and try and think about how you would have felt in this amazing place with the most beautiful views, doing something so important that would have lasted for so long.